Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new customer service culture podcast episode. This is a very special one. I'm really excited to have a special guest with me here, which is Darko Popovic, COO at Multitude Bank. So, welcome, Darko.
Hi, Paolo. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for joining us, Darko, today. I'm very happy that we're going to deep dive into real case example. When it comes to digital customer service, it's very good having the chance to share how companies, and you are a director in a company, have faced the whole journey, the whole digital customer service journey. And to those who are listening and watching now, Darko also wrote an incredible, exciting contribution in my new book, The Power of Digital Conversations. So if you want to deep dive in further after this conversation, you'll have the chance by purchasing the book. But before going and delving into this, very exciting topics for many companies, let's break the ice. All right, Darko. So let us know just a bit about yourself, your background, and your expertise.
Good. So I have already more than 20 years of experience with customer experience, customer service operations, or sales operations. Actually, I started almost 25 years ago in a telco company, and then I stayed for almost 20 years in the telco industry. Mainly in the customer service role. So I remember the beginnings with IVRs and call centers.
Yeah,
And,
I do.
exactly, and then with all the transformation of the service centers. And after 20 years with experience with B2C, also B2B segment, I decided for a change. The first change was to change the locations. I relocated to Malta, which is a very lovely sunny island, and I started to work for a local leading telco company, where I was responsible for customer service and customer experience. And after I think 4 years, I decided to change the industry itself, and I joined a fintech company which holds a banking license. It's a multitude, and we currently operate in 80 countries. And in the first position, I remain loyal to my main topic, which is customers experience and customer service. And after I think 2 years, I had the privilege to step into the COO role, where I'm leading the full operations of the bank, including sales, back office, front office, reconciliations, payment operations, anti-financial crime management, and other boring topics for many people who don't know the banking industry.
Yeah, thank you very much for this such introduction, Darko, because for all the people who do not know yet, I think this is just a very useful overview before deep diving. And I think that now we are ready to touch the stone, touch digital customer service. So my first very direct question is that from your personal observatory, okay, when it comes to digital customer service, many companies focus especially on tools, on technology, which of course are very good enabler. But if something is still missing, what's the missing link, or the missing link where you started when you put your first step into the digital customer service journey a few years back?
I think the situation is quite different with the large companies and, let's say, medium-sized companies. And what I see with the large companies usually is the common problems are the systems. Usually, the legacy systems of the large corporations are based on the wrong assumptions that the humans need to support customers, or they need to handle interaction with customers. And this is a wrong assumption. This was valid maybe in the previous century, where the service was based on the call centers or the retail segment. But now, in nowadays, the systems are much more advanced, and humans don't need to handle all of the service or sales interactions. So I would say legacy systems are very often the blocker of any digital transformation. What I see quite commonly, but this applies also for the medium-sized companies, is that how they integrate the digital channels across the support channel mix. Very often there is a problem. They just supplement the existing channels with some new digital channels, but the channel or digital channels are not the natural, let's say, fully synchronized experience with the other channels. So the omni-channel management is challenging for many companies and also for the large ones. What I see as a typical problem is then on the other side that some companies are trying to automate as much as possible what is natural, but then they are overlooking the human touch and the empathy of the service. So sometimes even to
Yeah.
mark the automation, it can lose the human contact with the customers, and it's quite surprising that what I always say that companies are spending millions of euros in a hope to more interact with customers, and then when it happens, they say, "Oh, that's too expensive."
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Sometimes we need to find the right balance between the automated and human based contact is critical, and obviously customers want to interact with companies, and it's now up to companies to define the right model where it's more easy and effortless for customers. And last but not least, what many companies underestimate is the training and support.
Yeah.
The transformation, the way how we serve customers, it's different. It's a different with the even asynchronous channels where the communication works differently as with for example, live chat or email. Completely different ways how to communicate with customers, and support not only for agents but also for leaders to learn how to handle digital transformation, how to acquire digital leadership skills, how to help people to overcome the obstacles and also some problems which come with the digital support model. So I would say it's a combination of the systems, the balancing the systems with human touch, the support and training, digital leadership skills. These are the things that usually companies are struggling with, or they represent challenges.
Yeah, I fully agree with you because that's matching my personal experience as a consultant and trainer, and not just in recent months, but throughout the last 2 or 3 years, including the pandemic period. So some things have been, speed up through the due to the pandemic. Some things are still, the same. So the needing to striking a balance between of course, investing in tools and technology, but not at the same time, not losing the human touch until the end customer is still a human. So still today, the end customer is a human. So we need to reframe and rephrase the way we interact with customers through digital channels. And that's, in fact, you really touched the point. That's a very important upskilling need, both for frontline agents, but also for those who are managing the team, so team leaders, supervisors, etc. So that's great, and that's really very interesting for those who are listening and watching this podcast now to also listen some such words from you as a banking leader, okay, but also with a very special focus, as you mentioned, on customer relationship. So I think this is the right time, Darko, to let us know why you decided to start and embark on a digital customer service journey a few years back, and what main goals did you set up, and what were the main challenges that you had to face in the last 3, 4, 5 years?
So first of all, from my experience, I can see that the digital-based support models are giving much better benefits compared to the traditional ones. Even from my previous companies, we could see statistically that the digital experience is giving us much better results. So when it comes to customer satisfaction, when it comes to effortless experience, and even we could, if you take a data, no, when I joined the bank, actually, we analyzed the customer satisfaction with the traditional channels compared to the digital channels. There was an absolutely clear difference. The customers were much more happy with the digital channels. You can see also differences when it comes to channel preferences based on the customer's age or customer segment.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the overall satisfaction, digital channels were overperforming the traditional ones. And then obviously that comes with a question: if we are a digital company and we as a fintech, we are mainly digital. So why, if we start the customer journey in the digital channel, why we should send customer back to the traditional channel? And there is also a very interesting study from McKinsey, which shows that exactly this: if the companies or the customer starts the journey in digital channel, and then they are sending customer back to the analog channel, like for example email or call center or retail, the satisfaction is decreasing. The end-to-end digital channels are by 33% much more efficient when it comes to customer satisfaction compared to the blended journeys, digital analog. So that was the first element which convince us that we should digitalize the service. Another reason is that actually the mission of our company is to democratize and simplify the digital services, to make them effortless and green. So if we make these digital services effortless, why not make the support effortless as well?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. So we had very paved the way why we should digitalize our support and also sales. It was not only service queries, but also all sales related, retention related, any interaction with customers. We decided to digitalize. So the mission was very, very clear. We saw already benefits from those interactions which were already in digital channels, that the customers are much more satisfied. And specifically, one of the objectives that we have defined is the effortless experience. And we say that our support is just click away.
Yeah.
We wanted to make everything so simple. The customers, they don't need to even open the chat and have a conversation with a digital agent. But whatever is simple can be automated, or to make it very simple for customers, we did it. So it was not only to change the channel, how you communicate with the customers, but to redefine the fundamentals and to start to think why the customers actually need to contact us, and if they need some request or some service activity, let's make them super easy for them. And this is something very common, what I always trying to explain to stakeholders or to other leaders, that there is one very wrong interpretation of data.
Yeah.
That customers want to contact us as a businesses, and unfortunately, this is not true. Customers don't want to contact us. They have a problem that they want to resolve, and it's up to us businesses to define the journeys that will solve the customer or address the customer needs. So the wrong assumptions that customers want to call us are usually based on the wrong questions. The marketers were asking, what is your preferred channel to contact us? Since companies were telling customers for decades, any question, give us a call, that immediately we say, okay, most likely I will call you. However, businesses should start to ask customers what they need, not what they want, to understand the real need of the customer and to define the service or the support model in a way that will address those needs. So even our mission was to create effortless customer experience which will address the customer needs.
Oh yes, yes, 100%. And then as you were speaking, Darko, I was thinking over the fact that not just adding new digital customer channels is enough, but many companies need to rearrange the whole main processes and guidelines. So if we know the reason why, the contact reasons by the end customers, does it make sense that the conversation starting from WhatsApp is forcibly redirected through the phone, or can we handle in channel, providing a better experience and at the same time reducing customer effort? I call this aspect because I've been working pretty hard this year, rearranging processes for a couple of big client companies who had already introduced digital customer service channels a few years ago, but they needed to rearrange all the processes because the way the customers experienced the digital channel was negative due to the, I would say, old-fashioned processes applied to new digital channels. So the friction was evident from the customer's end side, not absolutely evident until a few years ago. And another great thing that you mentioned is that the customers do not like to spend time with the customer service, calling and sending tweets or sending emails. They do it when it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, they prefer to have, of course, self-service solutions. And that's another aspect of customer service that needs to be balanced with the conversational aspect. Because for those who are listening and watching now, the subtitle of this conversation is conversation itself. So does the customer need to have a conversation with us, or would they better have a self-service option through an help page or through AI solutions without having the need to get in contact with us? So starting from this, I'd like to deep dive with you to how Multitude Bank was able to not just introducing a new digital customer service conversational channel, such as live chat, WhatsApp, and also striking the balancing with self-service solutions that enable the customers to avoid getting in touch with you and your support team.
Absolutely, Paolo. I'm very glad that you are saying this, because I believe that actually customer service starts when customer experience fails. So the businesses need to think of the overall design of the service, not only for the customer service element. This is usually only the result of the previous pure experience. The customer needs help with something, or it's not very clear, or it's not so easy to use. They need to contact service for help. So I think this is a very important element, that the leaders need to see the end-to-end journey and not only the customer service. What we were doing actually also in the bank, it was very complicated. Even I remember when you are mentioning the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is amazing channel for customer service, but it's not always very popular, and it's especially maybe for the data security officer. However, if someone decides to integrate WhatsApp, it needs to be full integration. It cannot be just a supplement that you will add additional channel because your competitors do, or you saw some article.
Sure.
It needs to be absolutely natural part of the channel support mix. The worst can happen is that customer will contact you via WhatsApp, and the agent will tell you, okay, for this you need to fill up a form on the website, or for this you need to call a call center. So that needs to be equal. Yes, exactly. Needs to be absolutely equal. And obviously, we even in the bank, we are facing multiple challenges. Even skeptical people were saying that, but people still want to prefer the call center rather than to go in the digital way. Even some people are saying that this will never work in our case because we are different.
Yes.
We are working banking; it's a saturated industry, and I believe that there is actually no saturated industry. There are only saturated minds, and that's why the leaders need to have a courage to define the support models of these days. And we need to realize that customers of these days communicate in digital way. The most common communication interface of these days are messaging platforms. Customers are using these channels to communicate with friends, family, even with institutions. But why then businesses still guide customers to the old analog channels? So it's a fundamental question that the businesses should understand and make this as a part of the strategies to transform the conversations with the customers, to allow them to benefit from the digital interactions. Obviously, maybe we'll get to that point that there are many benefits also for the businesses, also for the customers. So it needs to become a strategical initiative. That's the first thing. And there will be always people saying that maybe it's another right step. I remember there was a situation maybe 25 years back when companies were introducing call centers, and there were people saying the call centers are dangerous because you can face some data leaks. So these people who have conservative view are everywhere, and it's up to businesses that they will decide if they want to adapt to the new trends or they will just to follow the, let's say, traditional way. What is quite risky because there are many challengers that exactly are addressing these weak points of these companies, that they are still working the old traditional ways and are disrupting this type of businesses. So I think this is a really strategical decision of the company to take the bold move and to digitalize not only the interactions but even the customer journeys, because the service really is just the result of the pure design before the need when the customer contacts the support. So this will be my recommendation, that take a bold move. Don't be afraid of the people who are skeptical. Many times there are even good points that can be learned from the skepticism, and just don't be afraid to make a bold move and to benefit from the digital interactions.
Well, thank you, Darko, because you mentioned the word innovation. And what I see, and I'm curious about your feedback, is that most of the times the terms innovation is allocated below the technology, the adoption of digital platforms, tools, omni-channel platforms, and digital channels. But innovation means having the responsibility to question our mindsets. Regardless the years of experiences we have in a job or the role we're covering now in a bank or in other kind of industry, institution, or organization, having the quality to look themselves at the mirror and say, okay, this has worked for many years. Now I think we need to change something and make some extra efforts, because any change takes effort. Any change has a sort of internal resistance, as you mentioned. So we, even ourselves, we are innovators, but we have our internal resistances. But if we don't change, or at least if we don't question our mindsets, the risk is to make some changes, or just to delegate innovations to external tools, which are very good enablers, as I said earlier. But if we don't have a specific purpose or a specific goal, we don't have the clear picture, which is necessary to design a trajectory or an itinerary. And that's why I think most of the times I see some companies have partial benefits instead of whole benefits, because they tend to, see, just watch part of the whole picture. And that's important, because when you have the ability, when you mention bold moves, bold decisions, which are not, unconscious decisions, are based on the fact that maybe you and your team realized that you needed to change something, or some mindsets, or something, or some procedures. Is it, just my perception, as from my personal consulting crazy point of view, or something that resonates to you?
Definitely, it comes from the culture. I think the businesses need to understand the customer service is not a department; it's an attitude, and it starts there. Sometimes you mentioned the systems. The systems can be great enablers of the innovations, but it can be also a big limitation of innovations. And I can give you a typical example that now companies are crazy after having chatbots, right? Everyone wants to have a chatbot, but chatbot with the wrong design can completely ruin the channel or the experience of the customers. And I think many of you saw this in some companies where the chatbot is very like a menu based. It's like a more or less a digital IVR system,
Yeah.
and where if you want to speak to someone, it's almost impossible, right? So the wrong design of the tool can even destroy the channel. That's why the innovation needs to need to come from the mindset, from the service culture of the company, that they feel that these tools are not cost-cutting shortcuts, but there are tools that can build a really effortless experience with a better loyalty and customer satisfaction. So with the purpose in mind, that's the best way how to innovate. Just to buy some software can actually provide completely different direction, and can even ruin the good intent.
Yes, absolutely, Darko. And another point that you touched, very important, is culture. Of course, as you know, I'm a strong believer that having a customer culture confined just in customer service department is not a good thing anymore. It's not enough anymore, because most of the times there is no need to build or improve a customer culture within the customer service or frontline departments. Today, the need is to expand and to spread customer culture beyond these boundaries, and touching other non-customer facing departments. And that's something that comes very back many years ago, when I used to be first a customer service agent and then a supervisor and a team leader. With my first experiences when I used to work in a British insurance company, before the internet, before the email, before everything was social or web related. And I remember that the first couple of months before we started the company up, so before opening all the operations, was everybody needed to visit other departments to learn what they do, to break all the prejudices, and to start asking questions when we do some, our meetings in other departments. And that helped us a lot to improve what is crucial today, which is internal communication, internal conversations, internal cooperations, whose main goal is to improve external and internal customer experiences. Because I think that one of the missing link is that if you don't improve the internal communications and you improve the internal conversations, the result when it comes to external customer experiences is poor. It's most of the time is poor. So that's why I wanted to focus and highlight the part and take the part you certainly announced this, Darko. So when you mentioned culture, I think that still the very last mile for many companies is to spread customer culture, touching all over any single department, okay, and letting them feel having the responsibility for the global and overall customer experience.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Paolo. I think the culture plays the crucial role in this. And you just mentioned actually the day of the leaders at the front lines, and I have interesting experience that one company decided to roll out this plan and send all the leaders to spend one day in the customer service, and it turned out completely wrongly. And the leader is actually describing what the customer service people are doing wrongly and
Yeah.
sending reports what needs to be improved instead of thinking like what are the real problems of customers and as how can I initiate some changes as part of the leadership team. So actually, I think the culture needs to come from top down. And I remember an amazing case where my ex CEO decided to start our leadership meetings on the weekly base with customer feedback. And it was very strong uh, signal for the leadership team that the customer is on the first place. And we literally started to discuss what the customer is saying about our services, what is the net promoter score, is the customer satisfaction, what is the customer effort score, and then we started to discuss financial and sales results. And that was a very strong signal for the rest of the leadership team. So sometimes if the days at the front line are not enough, it will not change the culture, but needs to come from the top down, the leadership of the companies to strongly support the customer orientation, and they need to put the customer to the centric of everything what they do. And then the senior management will see that this is really true mission, is not just a fake statement on the wall that the customer is important, but we are really focus on the customer, and the leadership is our example.
Yeah. Well, thanks also, Darko, for sharing this example. As we keep the flow of this conversation, we recall our previous experiences, and such examples that you just shared, just like mine, show to those who are listening that this is not a mission impossible. Okay. That's something that, of course, needs to start from the very top of the organization. And when the commitment towards having a common customer culture is testified by the top managers, it becomes something that everybody needs or must do. That's I'm talking about this, taking back from my previous experience, having worked in many organizations before becoming a consultant. So I had the privilege to also have watched, the organizations and work in organizations from different angles and perspectives. But still today, after 20 or 25 years, it's still the same. You need the very top managing telling this is a new rule. This applies not just for customer service people, but for the whole people, and showing examples starting from the customer feedbacks puts the customer relationship at the very heart of the organization. And that's a way to show how you need to do it, not just we should do it, we're customer centric and stuff like that we often listen to many conferences. So we are customer centric, for us the customer important and stuff like that. But the very fun experience is that as I have to read and analyze hundreds of digital conversations every year for my client companies, for them, okay, but sometimes also for competitors, the discrepancies emerge like icebergs, all right?
Yeah.
So when you read conversations, when you see that maybe a customer is redirected just to make a call after a live chat without experiences any benefit in that digital part of the conversation. So everything needs to be arranged to be made easier, not just for the external customers, but also for those people who are having conversations with the customers every day. So I think that the quality of the experience need to be improved, both for internal customers, the front line, the support team, and then of course the final customers, because only those who have worked in customer facing areas need how it's demanding in terms of energy and stress, doing a job every day with the customers, with the ever digital and ever demanding customers we have today. So as we get into the end of these great conversations, I'm very happy that we having and deep dive into these topics. Darko, have a very difficult final question for you. Difficult in terms because we're talking about the future in a world that changes so rapidly. It's not just like 15 years ago that we had a new channel or a new technology every 5 or 6 years. No, we think about the social channels, the digital, the live chat, the video chat, and all the platforms. In the last 4 or 5 years, it seems like 20 years of change we compare to previous decades. So if we look at the future of the digital customer service relationship in just 2 or 3 years, so just stay in the next future, what trends do you imagine, not just for the company you're working for, but also from also customers' standpoint?
I think in general there are three main attributes that will shape up the future. First is, I think everyone knows, it's AI. The last year was absolutely turbulent for AI, and we can already see that AI can do amazing things. And the future will be not only about the AI, but about how to balance the AI with the human-based support. So I think AI will be very critical domain. The second domain will be data and analytics and good insights, and to have actionable data. And this will play a crucial role for, we call it, hyper personalization. That means to provide personalized support, that you will know the customer, you will able to predict what the customer needs. You can even avoid customer the needs to contact the support. There will be many things for churn prevention activities, analyzing of sales potential, automated sales campaigns, like AI and hyper personalization will play its role. The third area that I believe will be optimum channel management, and not only omni-channel that everyone knows, that is blending the channels in a more like a uniform or synchronized way. Optimum channel will be defining what channel to use on what specific situation. Like sometimes it can be automated chatbot that can step in and help customer with some process. It can, in some cases, it can be even call. For example, it's a sales opportunity and it's time sensitive. So in this case, we need to contact the customer via call, or it can be customized on social media, and that will be the best service channel how to get in touch with the customer. So I think the optimum channel management will be the discussion in the next 2-3 years. So in a nutshell, it's a combination of AI, hyper personalization using actionable data insights, and optimum channel management, where again digitalization plays the crucial role.
Yeah, thanks, Darko. And I think that the three areas that you mentioned in such a short span of time, 2 or 3 years, makes the idea and also reveals how is it challenging for any company, any organization, regardless the industry or the market, to strike in a balance and deciding where to allocate resources, investments, efforts in different areas that need, of course, to be linked one another into an ecosystem. Otherwise, efforts may produce insufficient or poor results. So that's crucial. And you also mentioned the optimum customer management that you also shared and expressed and deep diving into your contribution to my book, the power of digital conversation. So if you want, you are listening, for those who are listening, if you want to deep dive into Darko's experience and journey and view, so you got only one chance, just buy the book and you got everything you need, of course, but also you have the chance to read also the whole journey that was very kind of Darko to express, not hiding any challenging hurdles that he and his team had to face in this journey, which is something very practical and very common happening in organizations. So that's why I really enjoyed Darko having a conversation today, and also his contribution in the book. So Darko, thank you very much for this conversation. Of course, I will include all your links into the article on customerserviceculture.com, and also on the podcast platforms where it's going to be shared in the next hours. So thanks a million.
Thank you, Paolo. It was my pleasure, and it's always nice to have a conversation with people who are maybe in the same belief that the digital conversation can be much more beneficial for businesses, also for the customers.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, and have great conversations.